Greetings and welcome back to Switch to Linux. I scared the cat away. Well, I forgot to change my title, so give me just a moment. It's been a crazy morning here. That's why we're actually starting about half hour later than usual. But we are just about there. Let me get my title built, and then we'll be right with you guys. How's everyone doing? I would show you the kitty cam again, but the kitty just ran away. Where's my filters? Filter. And there we are. Woohoo! We are back. Well, today we're doing a tutorial on LibreOffice. Usually my Saturday morning streams are not this prepared, but I was actually up late last night with Joe, and he's like, there's this one thing that if we could get this working, I could get my wife to switch to Linux probably. And I was like, well, I know how to do at least half of that. Let me figure out the rest. So I was up until about 6 in the morning or so figuring out the rest, got a couple hours of sleep, and we're back with the tutorial. So, greetings everybody. We are going to record this so that we can do a nice, shorter, concise tutorial for people watching later. But you guys, for the live stream, how's it going there? We got cookie. Man, is there a cookie too? Okay. Oh, there is. Uh-oh. Oh, everyone, I'm gonna create another meme. Everyone join me in saying cookie. Of course, the pizza's here too, so we also say pizza. Maybe we should just say cookie pizza. There you go, something like that. Midnight Owl, greetings, how are you? Adonis, how's it going there? Louie, how's it going, Louie? Steve, good afternoon to you. Farano Estev, hello. Andy A, greetings to you. And Jessica, hello. Quint Berkeley, hello, y'all. Oh, that reminds me. Quint's on, that reminds me. Switch to live chat. Okay, let's see. Hello Kitty, that's right. Remember that, toys? Yes, I do still build websites for people. So if you would like me to get a quote or something, shoot me a message on one of my contact forms. I'll go back to you. Better to use the one on westernmtnweb.com, but you can use the one attached to Switch to Linux too. They all go to me. It's just, where does it originally lie? Let's see. Just got the Nokia. Works like a charm. Very good. See, now though, you have to convince your parents that if you had actually been allowed to install a custom ROM, you would be able to fix your Nexus. Funny how it works that way, isn't it? But, you know. My websites are hosted on A2 hosting, of which I have an affiliate link. So A2H, tlm.li/A2H is my affiliate link. You can also go to thinklifemedia.com, go to my affiliates page there, which is a public page, and you can see my list of affiliates over there. I also have SiteGround affiliate links. I also recommend SiteGround. SGH. I also have an InMotion hosting. They're a little harder to use, but you can check the page for that. So I'm using all my stuff on A2 hosting, which I think works great. You get free SSLs. I'm using Komodo's free cPanel SSLs. You can also do Let's Encrypt. Either one works. Forwarding, seeing reviews sometime. Thinking about picking one up. What's up, silly boy? How's it going there? Kitty cam or stuff. Hey, I kitty cammed, man. I kitty cammed. He'll come back too eventually. I use headphones most of the day anyway, no big deal. Think about getting LG G5 and putting Lineage on it. Very cool. +6 here, pretty dang well. Very good, very cool. Get the G6, the G5 has boot loop issues. Oh boy. More boot loops. Boot loop. Boot loop. Yes, everyone join me saying pizza cookie. Yeah, we used to have this pizza place where I used to live out west, and it was like you go and it was like a what was it? It was Papa Mama's maybe, I don't know. And basically, you'd go and you'd get a pizza. They weren't frozen. They were like fresh, uncooked. You'd get them and you'd take them home and cook them. Well, they also had dessert pizzas, which were basically like s'mores pizzas, you know. And that was kind of it. Let's see. When I was switched to Linux, I was painful for the first 2 months. It can be painful for the first 2 months. Indeed, indeed. You don't host your websites on your own. No, there's a lot of major concerns with hosting your own website yourself. First and foremost, if you're hosting your own website, the first thing you're going to need is you're going to need a commercial internet, not a home internet, because they're going to catch on and block you pretty quick. And then they're going to jack up your rates to easily 10 times what you're going to pay for a good hosting account anyway. Second is, anytime you are trying to host something on your own servers, now you're letting the entire internet into a portion of your home network. Serious issues there. So you don't want to do that. If you're like a business, then yeah, I'd have a server closet, I'd have a separate line, I'd have my networks all, connected differently. It would be not a big deal. But I work out of a home office, and I'm not going to go through the extra expense to host everything myself when a hosting company would do it just as fine. So supports American English out of the box, only British English. so your phone will be like, "Yo, I got a phone call, you mate." Now that was more Australian. Now that was nothing. I was like so offensive. I'm sorry. I just won't do that again. I used to have the British. How do I get the British going? Would you like a spot of tea? Would you like a spot of tea and some crumpets? Is this going to be good for you, governor? There you go. That's what your phone's doing. Triggered from reading Back's comment. Easy for me to use deepen. Triggered. No, kidding. Block. No. Hey, deepen's fine. I'm just deeply concerned about that EULA. If I wanted to run the deepen desktop environment at this point in time, I'd either figure out how to install it myself or just run it on Manjaro, which worked just as fine. I mean, Papa Murphy's. Is that it? That might be it. I think it might be Papa Murphy's. That sounds familiar. Can you install Lineage without an unlocked bootloader? No, you have to unlock your bootloader. Unsub for being triggered. No, come back. I will bow to you all, SJWs. All right. Hello, Thomas. I am and CJ are doing well. TJ is doing fine as well. She didn't come in for the live stream last night, but she came in for the after camera conversations. What did you do to my knuckle? It was my bed frame. Kicked my butt. No. More English bashing. No, I know. That's fine. Okay, what's a good phone that's cheap and works with Lineage? Hey, I like the Nexus. Just don't ask pizza. I've had a few different Nexuses running. I have one for a friend of mine running. We've had no issues at all. It appears as though the issue with the Nexus is if you're always running a lot of applications and it gets hot, there's a solder joint that becomes unsoldered and that causes a boot loop. So in theory, you could actually open that thing up, resolder that joint together, and fix it. That seems to be what the issue is. But I don't know for sure. Now, since I only use the phone and my friend that has a Nexus 5X at my recommendation, we don't use our phones for anything more than phones and light text messaging and occasionally looking at the internet. So for us, it's a perfect phone. If you're doing stuff that your phone's constantly getting hot, then yeah, I think that could be an issue. Yes, English so inaccurate. See you later, Quint. Quint's out of here. All right. I think I triggered Quint. No. Get beat up by a bed frame. Yes, I did. Yep. All right. Let me, hold on. I need to cough. Hold on. All right, we're going to go ahead and jump into this, and I'm going to move my comments over here. I'm going to go ahead and record this so that I can get a very nice edited video for later. So we're going to do this, and I don't think I'm going to... Yeah, I'll just go ahead and re-roll the intro as well. May as well. Welcome back to Switch to Linux. Well, today we're going to do a little bit of a tutorial here, and what we're going to do is show you how to run mail merge to print address labels out of your contact list. Now, we are going to be using Evolution. You should also be able to do this with Thunderbird. You can do this with a CSV, which you can export. I don't think you can specifically do a VCF file. And so what we're going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and do this on a virtual machine so that there's extra software I didn't want to have to install on my main system. Don't worry, my virtual machine is a fairly beefy device, so we won't have any issues. Now, there's going to be some software packages you're going to need to install. Again, we're going to do this with Evolution specifically. And so with Evolution, we're going to need the extra plugin pack that allows Evolution to talk with your LibreOffice. So let's start by going on over to our desktop. And what I end up doing is I downloaded this CSV file, which is simply sample contact information. So this is just something I grabbed from the internet, and you might have a similar type of spreadsheet. Now, quite literally, this is infinitely easier to do if you are just working with the CSV. So if you are a business or whatever and you're keeping your addresses in a CSV file, hey, very easy. I think Thunderbird has the ability to export your contact list as a CSV. I think that's what this one is. It was actually a complicated task to get the CSV list into Evolution. So it was not as simple as just point things in. So this is actually what Thunderbird exported. So I was not actually able to get the import to function in any way, shape, or form directly from a CSV into Evolution. Now, the reason we're doing Evolution is this is what a friend of mine's who asked me about this is what they use. This is actually the preferred email client that I use. I personally don't use contacts on this. I do contacts in a different form. But anyway, this is a nice application. So I was able to get this, and I can talk about later. We can talk maybe about how to get those in. I'm not going to do that on this stream. But we're going to go ahead and start out, and I'm just going to show you the Evolution. So of course, Evolution is an email application that is pretty much every bit as robust as Outlook. So if you are thinking of switching to Linux from a Microsoft world and you're using Outlook, then Evolution is absolutely my favorite. Now, I don't have an email set up here, so I'm not sure what's going to happen when I go to mail. It's just going to ask for this. You have the unified inbox. Now, this is, I say Outlook, I say older Outlook. I think the newer ones has followed this same thread, which is putting every email in its own little folder, and I absolutely hate that because my businesses have so many emails. So I use Evolution because I have a unified inbox, and then I can sort things with a series of rules later. I'm not going to cover in this tutorial how to manage any of that. But here we have our contact list, and our contacts here, they are containing a name. Now, something that this does differently than many other systems is that there is no first name and last name. There's just a full name link, which is okay. We just have to be aware of that. We have our address. We have our address line here. We have our city, our zip code, and our state. So that's what we have. So before we jump into this, what do you need to install? Well, we're going to go here into the software manager, and I'm using Linux Mint 19.1. This is the beta right now, but it'll work pretty much anywhere. So if you do your software manager, whatever system you're using, then you will have a variety of tools. The specific one we need to make sure is enabled is LibreOffice-Evolution. This is going to allow you to link your Evolution contact list and address books into LibreOffice. Now, the other thing that you are going to need is you are going to need the full LibreOffice suite. So some distributions will only throw on the basic ones that are being used, such as the Writer and maybe the Calc, maybe the Impress, maybe the Draw. Many of them are going to leave out your Math and your Base. Make sure that you definitely have your Base and make sure your Base core is installed. And really, I don't actually have the meta package, which is literally everything LibreOffice installed here, but they did give me actually everything else I needed except for the LibreOffice and Evolution Connect plugin. So just make sure those are installed. Basically, you're going to need to make sure you have Writer and Base at the bare minimum, and make sure you have that the evolution and LibreOffice thing that we had pointed out a few minutes ago. So with those done, what we are going to do is we're going to go ahead and just boot up LibreOffice. We can just boot up the basic LibreOffice program, which gives us this screen here. So the first thing we are going to do is we're going to create a database. Don't worry, you don't have to actually dive in, just use the wizard. Under your file menu up here, then you want to come on down to your wizards and hit your address data source. Okay, so now you're going to have this. If you do not see evolution in this list, it means that that evolution plugin is not installed. So you can see we can do evolution. I can do Thunderbird here. I can do other external data source, which will allow us to go directly from that CSV. We're going to go ahead and do evolution. So click next on evolution and then hit the field assignment button. Now, remember how I said that evolution does not have first name and last name. It just has first name. So what these are here, these are the fields that are going to show up in the database. So when it says first name here, we're going to come down here and we are going to go with full name. We are going to ignore last name because full name contains first name and then last name with a space separated, so it will work perfectly. I'm going to leave out company for simplicity. You can do that. This, of course, should be a primer. For street, this is your effective address. So this would show up on your address, which in in evolution, address combines both address line 1 and address line 2, which is not the most ideal, but we'll go ahead and do address line 1. For city, of course, just grab our city. So here is city, our zip code. Grabs our zip code, and then we need our state, grabs our state. So since these are mailing labels we are printing, we don't need to worry about anything else like phone numbers, anything else like that. So our first name is going to have our entire full name. Our street has our entire address, which is address line 1 and address line 2 as applicable. We have our city, we have our zip code, we have our state. If there's something else that you need, maybe country codes, whatever else, that's okay. Push OK, and then this is going to create a database. And what basically this is going to create a database here, and this is going to be addresses 1. You want to give it a database name. So we're just going to call this address 1. Of course, addresses is what you might see if you're doing this the first time. I ran through this as a test. So now that it's created a database, doesn't look like anything happened. This is a step you do not have to do, but just so you understand what's going on, if you go into your database application and hit Open Existing, hit your Open button, this is going to take you to your My Documents. This is the database file that was just created, the ODB file. So if you open this up, then under Tables and Forms, this is actually that information. So this is everything here. All right. Now, this is a live and active database. So if you were to update your evolution contact list, that is going to automatically appear in this database. That's important because the steps we just did, you only have to do the first time. You simply have to make sure that your database file is preserved, and you need to make sure that your contact file list is preserved. In other words, make sure you're doing good backups of both your evolution contact data and your database files. And if you ever need to reinstall your computer, make sure everything is properly linked back the appropriate way. So that is the database function. And I just closed LibreOffice. Let's just go ahead and reopen that up. So the next step is we're going to create our mailing labels. Now, again, we're going to assume that we are going to use a mailing label that is already in the database, which is actually a pretty good bet because there are a lot. We're going to hit File, New. Nope, I got to hit the New button, not the Tool button, and come down to Labels. So with labels, now what we're going to do, this was kind of my sample one, so I'm just going to delete everything here so we can kind of start with a blank slate. It will kind of save your last data, so if you only do this on one system, hey, great, you don't have to really save anything else. All right, so here what we are going to do is inside of the label, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to select what database it's coming from. So evolution, local, addresses. So in theory, this should work. I've not seen how to do it. Again, I put together most of this from late last night. I haven't explored this. But we just created a database called addresses1. So we're going to do that. And then this is going to list a list of tables. Personal is that address table that we had. And then now we're going to create our labels. So over here, we are actually going to basically create whatever's in the label. So we're going to start with, now remember here that we are using, I think we're using the full name for the database field. Move that over and then hit enter. And then we're going to come down here and we are going to find our address line. So address line 1, hit your over arrow. This puts it here. Now we are basically building a line. So this is your address lines. Hit enter again. Now we're going to pull in our city. Enter that. Now we want, for formatting in the United States, city, comma, space, state, and then the zip code. So we're going to enter a comma, enter a space on the keyboard. Now we're going to hit state, push this over, and then hit a space, and then now we're going to push over zip. Boom. Now we're done. Now this will all be one line. It's just we don't have any more space over here. Now the next thing you need to do is determine what labels you're using. So here is a series of different labels. Now not every label is exactly listed by the exact number. There's a lot of things. You can get generic ones that says, you know, Avery label 6925, whatever. So you just want to flip through here and find, first look for the label. What you're going to find is that because this is a giant international database, you're going to find that you might be using some address label that uses a different number, but as long as your numbers are working right, as long as everything is set up right, this is going to tell you, does your label on your package say you have 2.52 inch by 1.5 inch, that's 3 by 10? Oh, no? Well, let's look for another one then. This is 3 by 8. This is 2 by 8. So you can see that you're just kind of looking for just what labels you might have. Now I have a separate video about, suppose you can't find any of the labels that you're doing, you can actually create your own. We're not going to walk through exactly how to do that on this video here, but I'll go ahead and link that. So this is 3 by 15, so that's 45 labels. I just kind of do this until I find what I'm looking for. What are the ones I have laying around? I think I have 3 by something's laying around. I think I might have 3 by 15s laying around. I think I might have something like this laying around. So okay, so now with this, the next thing we're going to do, don't hit create new document yet. We're going to go over to options. Make sure that synchronized content is set up, all right? And then make sure entire page is set up. This form is what's used if you need to create your own labels. This should automatically be set, but if you need to tweak the label, you can go ahead and pick one close to what you have and just tweak it over here. Again, I cover this in fine detail on another video, which I will link to this one here. All right, so now with this, we're going to hit the new document button. And what this is going to do is open up LibreWriter. And what you're going to have is you're going to have this little synchronize button up here. This is because we've selected that synchronized form. Because as this comes in here, it's probably not going to be exactly what we want. So now let's say I want to make the first name stick out a little bit more. Oop, I got to not double click it though. So here we're just going to highlight the first name. Maybe we'll go ahead and change the font. It's already kind of bold. Let's go ahead and highlight the rest of this. Let's drop the font size down a little bit. Let's maybe center the whole label. Hit the synchronize button, and now all of your labels are going to look the same. Okay, so now it's basically pulling information out of the database. I'm not 100% sure that full name is right, but we'll go ahead and give it a try. So from here, we're going to print the document. So I'm just going to grab the print from the menu. You can easily grab the print from the toolbar. This is going to ask you, your document contains database fields. Do you want to print a form letter? Push yes. And now what this is going to do is it's going to give us our information. So full name, so yes, full name will work correctly. So now in my case, I don't have a printer set up on this VirtualBox. We're just going to print to a file. Make sure that save single document is done when you're doing labels. Now, if you were going to do printing out a form letter or something, then you might want to save them as separate documents. It just kind of depends on your system. The difference here is that the single document is going to make one document with all the data. Individual documents is every single line in your database is going to create a separate document. Okay, so we're going to save a single document. I'm going to save it as a file. And then you can pick your file format down here. So you can save this as a writer document. If you want to print one out as a writer document first, so for testing purposes, you can do that. I'm just going to go ahead and test this as a PDF, and we'll put this on the desktop, and we will call it test. So hit save, and you're going to see it's going to run through its whole address label-y thing. And then that's going to give us a file on the desktop when that is done. So let's go to the desktop. Here is test.pdf. And you can see here that it went ahead and printed all of our address labels directly out of our contact list on Evolution. Now, like I said, if you make adjustments, so all you have to do is most of that stuff, we just have to set it up one time. So let's go ahead and open up Evolution. And we will go ahead and add a new contact. So on this, you can either hit the new here, or you can actually double click anywhere in here. We're going to say John. Let's do something. We're going to do Alibaba, because I simply want it to be up near the front of the top of the list, so we can find it. So there's our full name, our address book. He's at 123 Elm Street. Whoa, let's enter Elm Street right, though. City, let's do any town. Postal code 12345. State, we'll just do PA. Hit save. Now that will show up right there in my contact list. I want to double check, make sure I have my system set up right here, because you'll notice that showed up a little bit different, but it should still work just fine. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so we've added a new contact to Evolution. Okay, time to do our print labels again. Now all I should need to do is come right into our LibreOffice again. Let's close this document out. Don't save that document. So from here, just come right on back up. Hit New, Labels. As long as nothing here changed, just create new document. And we're just going to go ahead and print these ones out as they are. Yes. Single file. Once again, we're going to save it as this. Yes, replace. So you can see that if you were paying attention, you'll see it's now printing 502 records instead of 501. And as we open up our test.pdf, there is our contact. So now that we have this set up, as long as you're not changing anything else in the address fields or whatever else, then you can do that. Now, the other thing, by the way, you can do is you can actually take this document right here that we have. Let's go ahead and do those changes that we had before. Make it exactly what we want. Let's center the whole thing. Let's go ahead and make this a font size smaller. So now we can actually save this document, and this document is going to contain within it the database thing. So let's just go ahead and do addresses over here as in our documents folder. Close that out. So let's verify that's in there. So open our documents. So here's our documents thing. So now in theory, if I'm correct, all we should need to do now, let's go ahead and add another contact. So again, you can just double click in any empty space between a contact. We'll say Allison Alley. Mailing address 789 Any Street. And Springfield. And 12345 PA. Hit save. Now, if I'm correct, now that the contact is in there, if all we should be able to do is go right back to our saved file, the ODT file, which is the writer file, contains links. Would you like to change it? Yes. Print. Yes. Let's go back to desktop. We will once again overwrite our PDF. So now you'll see it's printing 503. So in theory, just set this up with your writer document up once. Everything should be fine. Sure, let's just go ahead and save that. Now if I print up my test PDF, Allison Alley is now up there. Alibaba is up there. So all I'm doing is just adding to the address list, reopen up the same document we've been using, reprint your, your forms out. So that is how you can create a mail merge from your Evolution address list into a printing out your labels directly. And again, that the option to create those labels did indeed have the information for a continuous print feed as well. If you have a continuous printer, you have that option as well. So hopefully that helped. If we need to dive into anything else in finer detail, of course, you can do it with the CSV file as well. And as long as you just keep on adding to the same CSV file, it will keep on updating that database automatically. So the Evolution is working with a database. Everything is working with a database. And hey, we don't even need to go online and download Avery document templates. So let me know if this tutorial was helpful and if you'd like to see more things like this. So thanks for watching, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux. All right. I'm going to shut down that screen so I can put my comments back in a more comfortable place. Okay. There's that. And let's go ahead and jump on back to comments. All right. I think when I do the final on that, I think what I'll do is I'll zoom in on those screens so you can see them better. All right. Switch for me, and I use deepen. Yes, I looked into security. There you go. I think the security's fine. The EULA right now, like security was an issue 3 years ago, or 3 versions ago. Now it's the EULA that drives me crazy. But hey, you know, I don't care. That's fine. I thought deepen was fun when I ran it. Let's see. Uses pound, not dollar. Oh boy. Let's see. I didn't save my place apparently. Gonna upgrade Nokia to the Android Pi. I think I should upgrade to Raspberry Pi. Maybe Apple Pi. Apple Pi. I have apples downstairs. I think I'm gonna make apple turnovers today. Whoa, Vision. Sorry. I'm back. Tava, how's it going there? Good app to sync Android phone to Linux Mint laptop. Man, you're the second person to ask that question. I'm going to have to do a tutorial on that. Serge gave us some good documents to look through. I think I might just go ahead and make a tutorial on that because you're the second person that's asked me that in a week. And I think that might sound like a good one. Don't censor the coughs. I mean, come on, man. It's better to censor the coughs so I don't destroy your headphones. Do I use Arch? Not generally. I have Fedora rocking on this computer over here right now. Of course, it's going to need a password right now. Apparently, I can't get caffeine working on this. There's a lot of things I had to do differently on this Fedora machine. It kind of drives me crazy. The positive news is I'm not using Chromium for YouTube over there because it actually doesn't work. I actually am using WaterFox for Chromium over there. Okay, works. All right. Go full neckbeard mode with Mutt. Woof, woof. Or Gen 2? No, Gen 2. No, Gen 2. Am I taking questions? Yes, ask away. Go ahead. Okay, do I really need an antivirus for Linux? No. Your typical virus is a Windows executable file. If you are running something that has Wine, maybe you're running Zorin out of the box, or you need Wine for some application, running a antivirus might not be a bad thing because Wine will allow Windows viruses to run. That's one of the reasons I do not recommend Zorin for new users, because it comes with Wine pre-configured so they can say it works with Windows programs. Well, Wine only works with a very small percentage of Windows programs. It is getting better. we are finding that more Windows programs can run on it, but still it's generally better to find a Linux alternative if you can. But if you're using something like Zorin that has Wine enabled and configured out of the box, then yes, a Windows virus could get on there and run. So then what does a Windows virus do? Well, there's anything from data mining, collecting, crypto viruses, ad spamming, a variety of things may or may not be impacted. Now, Linux can be a carrier for Windows viruses. You know, understand the concept of a carrier in epidemiology. A carrier is a person who can get such a disease but never be impacted by it. And so they can spread it on, but they can't. So Linux can spread on Windows viruses without actually being affected. And your typical antivirus on Linux only searches for Windows antiviruses, Windows malware anyway, huh? You know, the best thing is make sure that their security patches are updated on computers, and that's really the most important thing to do. Would I recommend using LibreBoot? I have not done any research into LibreBoot, so I'm not sure I could comment well one way or the other. I use, if I'm remembering correctly, I think it's like an open source BIOS. If you would need it, if there's a reason to run it, sure, I would run it. But for me, what I do, it's not something that is considered necessary for me, and so I don't bother. And other than that, I don't know much about it. Okay, classic Outlook. Yes, that's exactly what I like. This new nonsense of every email address has its own folder is stupidity when you have 18 to 20 emails that you're checking. It's sheer stupidity, especially since several of them feed into the same inbox. And so that's why I like Evolution. And Kmail has the same functionality. Kmail's a little bit more difficult to set up, though. Can I make my calendar in Evolution connect with calendar of Linux Mint? Yes. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, now my version I'm running right here, I do not think has that, but if I am not mistaken, let me boot that virtual machine back up. If I'm not mistaken, they automatically will sync with each other. And I know I've actually tested that because a client of mine were working on Nextcloud builds, and that's what he uses, Evolution, and he prefers Linux Mint. And so I've tested it with my own personal Nextcloud calendar, and yes, it does appear to work out of the box without any extra plugins. So let's go ahead and jump on back over to, this is Linux Mint 19.1. So of course you can do your, you can go to your online accounts. So I use Nextcloud. You can sync Google Nextcloud calendars to it. So you can do that. But if you come up and I think the calendar functionality is here. So let's just go ahead and create a new event. This new event, I guess this new even. Let's just do this new even. Why not, you know? It's telling me the weather in the calendar. That's exciting. All right, now let's go ahead and boot up Evolution. If I'm not mistaken, I think it will automatically connect. Let's see. Yeah, this new even right there. So yeah, so that will work, of course. Let's go ahead and, man, I used to use calendars for a lot of things. I don't remember how to do my setups these days. How do I get a month view on this thing? That's task view. Oh, up here. Duh. There we go. Week, month. So let's go ahead and do. There we go. So just make sure it's on the personal calendar. Let's do another event. Another events, okay. Right here. And it's an all-day event, sure. This is all-day silliness. Hit the save button. That is now completed on Evolution. And so now if I go into my calendar, in theory, I should see it. So there it is. There's your another events. And I can look at the details. Oh, wait, hold on. There we are. So yes, so Evolution and the calendar that is on Linux Mint is full system syncable with everything else. I was pretty sure it was. Okay, we'll just look over here. Besides, it looks on the screen like I'm looking at the comments now. Woohoo! Let's see. I think Cube's OS is the perfect solution because if you were to get a virus, you can close the virtual machine and restart it without catching the virus. Yes, it will separate it. Now it depends though. Cubes has the it has your basic setups, and then it also has your test machines like destructible machines. So if you're a little uncertain, you can open it up in a destructible machine and see how that works. Modern Outlook has email preview to the right instead of the bottom. Well, I mean, you can set up Evolution a variety of ways. I don't remember how to set everything up exactly the way, but if you go into, well, I can't show you right here because I don't have any emails on this thing, but cancel. So you can actually go into view and select a variety of layouts as a preview. Let's see what we got here. Here's toolbar style, text style. I'd have to get in and actually show, actually put in email boxes and things. But yeah, you can set it up horizontally, vertically. You can do whichever direction that you want. It doesn't really matter which way you're doing. All right, I'm going to shut this machine back. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to minimize the machine in case we need it again. It's just uncomfortable looking at comments that way, and I fear the sound is not as good. I mean, calendar applet, I don't think that supports events anyway. Yep, 19.1 is great. Hello, the technician. You're late. You're late. You're late. For a very important date. All right. What would you recommend for Linux mail server on HP Broadland? I mean, I let my control panels do my email servers. I don't have much comment on that. Mostly, again, because running your own email server is more of a hassle than it's worth. Unless you're a huge business or something. Yes, I am on the modern Linux Mint theme over there because I wanted to do a series of tutorials and things on what the most recent version is going to be. OpenOffice versus LibreOffice wars. Oh, LibreOffice wins every time because OpenOffice is really not even much supported anymore. LibreOffice has a giant team behind it, so LibreOffice actually has the resources to win. I mean, that's kind of like, you know, United States versus some little third world country back there. Who's going to win? Well, I mean, never mind. Bad example, Vietnam, you know. Never mind. Bad example. But anyway, yeah. That and OpenOffice kind of succeeded the way to LibreOffice. So. Hello, Hoiston. Greetings to you. Think of Ubuntu or Debian. I have Ubuntu now. I mean, Ubuntu is going to work better for you if you are new to Linux. Definitely, Ubuntu is going to be a better user experience for you. Debian is a little bit more advanced to try and get everything working right. Video on Mint AA a while back. Mint dose. Well, thanks. I don't remember which video you're talking about, but thank you. Did I see sudo reboot in there? Greetings, sudo reboot. I'm sure I'll get back to you. Topic, I'm still miffed they ended up having Mint welcome, then do all the desktop layout changes be done in one burst. Yeah, I think I don't like the modern view. I think it's highly inefficient for work. Like for simple little I just get online and check my email and watch Netflix. It's probably just fine, dude. When I'm doing deep production stuff, I got a lot of stuff going on. Like just for example, right now, this is what my screen looks like with these tasks down here. This is only half of the amount of things that I have open when I'm in the middle of development. I don't want to be like, you know, I'll have 2 instances of Chromium running over here, 2 instances of this. I don't want them both over here where I have to come over here, click, or like hover over the icon for a second, and then have a little virtualization, little cute preview show up, and then I hover over and click which one I want. That takes way too much time when I'm trying to bounce between windows. Okay, modern UI might be pretty and minimalistic, but you know what, guys? It fails the task of minimalism. I'm a minimalist, all right? It doesn't look like it from my office, which is certainly my most populated room in the house, because this is where all my businesses are run out. But a minimalist doesn't get rid of stuff for the sake of getting rid of stuff. A minimalist cuts out the things that are not needed. So what ends up happening with this modern UI panel is you have a few applications that you use crammed into the left. You have the date in the taskbar crammed into the right, and you have this massive, completely unused empty space in the middle. Well, you may as well put the list of open applications there so you can easily get to them. That's where being minimalist for the sake of minimalism is not efficient. But that's kind of my take on it. And I still think that they need to include a way to change it from the settings rather than just from the Mint welcome screen. Silent Robot, greetings. I use Wine for one game, and I have more games than that Proton at the moment. All right. Plus side, Zorin OS seems to blacklist Windows applications on startup, so if it was on... Okay, that's good news. Still, I prefer Zorin OS, borrowed the wine prompt. Yes, absolutely. Farron did that very well in Farron OS. And I think that was one of the early criticisms I had, is that it enabled wine by default. So he put in a box to select, are you going to be using Windows applications, so you can install wine if you are. If you're not, then don't. Because you should never, ever, ever install wine on a Linux system unless you specifically need it. I have it installed in one of my production machines because I specifically need it over there. Okay, no big deal, and I'm aware of the risks and all that kind of stuff. So that's, you know, that's kind of that. But, you know, don't install it to open up and say, hey, we can work with Windows too. It's foolhardy. And having appears in the calendar applet. Oh yeah. Oh, in the calendar applet. I don't know if they would show up in the calendar applet. That's an applet I haven't played with for a long, long time. Certainly before this. Let's see. All right, so what we need to do is we need to, I think it's down here, right? Is it applet or desklet? Are you looking at the, let's just go ahead and let's look at applets and desklets. First, let's look at the desklets. There's a clock. Let's refresh the cache. Let's see if there's a calendar one. There's a Google Calendar. There's a calendar desklet. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and download the calendar desklet. Let's go ahead and download that one as well, just in case. And of course, if you're using Google Calendar, but Google. All right, so now we got calendar. What's this guy's telling me? This one contains a function that could cause it to crash or freeze. So let's not do that one unless we have to. So let's go ahead and add one of those. And let's look at our settings. I think this is serving the purpose just to show us what the actual date is. I don't think this is actually going to give us anything here. What's import from a file? It's a JSON file. Okay. Okay. So I don't think that this one is actually going to show us anything because, of course, remember there's an event scheduled on Tuesday, so we don't see anything there. So let's just go ahead and delete this one. Let's go ahead and put the potentially unstable one onto the desktop. Let's see what happens there. Let's go ahead and configure this one. Appointment number. So this allows you to do an iCal file. Evolution. So if I could get an iCal file, I'm not sure if I can get an iCal file on that, but let's see. If I can get, for the calendar, if this prints an iCal file, and I don't know if it does, if this prints an iCal file, in theory, I should be able to paste it into this desklet, and it would actually show me my events. But I don't think this is going to read directly into the system settings as it is. And I'd really, yeah, I really don't like that thing, but... so that one doesn't seem to want to work right. Now let's look at the applets, which go onto the panel. It's desklets, applets. So the desklets go into there, the applets go over here. So here is a panel here. So, which in theory, if I pull this up, let's go ahead and configure this. Yeah, so that one's not going to be able to pull it in. Let's see if there's anything else that might be able to pull from it. There's an Iranian one. So yeah, I'm not seeing a way to actually do that functionality, to connect the calendar on your desklet or applet to Cinnamon. I don't see a way to do that. Okay. Greetings, Anna Rita. How are you? I've lost my place now. There we are. Does the evolution calendar let you create different calendars for different things? Yes, it does. There is, just like any other application, it will have the, it has the ability to set, let's get rid of this thing. This thing's annoying. Die. Thank you. So what you can do is down here, you can see we have a birthday one here. From contacts, we have this. We can actually create a new calendar. So you can say this is a CalDAV from Google, from weather. Let's see what weather does. I have no idea what weather does. Okay. Apparently I can't click OK, but... Well, that's a bad example because of that. But yeah, click New, hit Calendar. You can do just one on this particular computer. You can do CalDAV, which is what Nextcloud uses. Google, another web calendar. So, for example, if there is some event that you like that makes their calendar publicly available, you could actually go onto the web, grab the calendar, and basically have all their list of events put in there. Let's see if let's see. Let's do public event calendar. Let's do a search for a public event calendar. Okay, let's see. Okay, so if we copy this link, in theory, I've not done this before. You guys can't see what I'm doing. My apologies. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sitting over here talking on the comments. You guys can't see what I'm doing. So click on this. Evolution. Open link. Evolution's actually waiting for input. So we're going to go back to this. So open an evolution. So what this is doing is it's giving me a feed. Excuse me. And so now if we do this, now added to your calendar is all of the events of any public event that makes their calendar available. So any organization that makes their calendar available, maybe it's a church group, maybe it's a social organization you follow, concert schedule, whatever, you can grab their iFeed, drop it right into here on the web, and then you can actually see everything directly on your calendar when you're seeing what's on yours. So, and of course, you should be able to come over here. You can edit this, and so if you want to make that, maybe make theirs red or something, you can do that. So now everything on theirs is red. So you can kind of see, are they doing anything this day that I'd like to fill in that will fit in my calendar? So yeah, you can do all that kind of stuff. Calendar give you notifications? Yes. Hello, Ricky. Greetings to you. Having zero luck with music players on Rhythmbox. Rhythmbox is okay. Lollipop crashes. GNOME Music is okay. Snazzy Butterfly. Try Banshee. My favorite one. Now, Banshee has kind of a setup and a UI much like Windows Media Player did, which is actually what I like. But try Banshee. You might find that one works really well. Quadlibet. I've not tried Quadlibet personally. New here was searching for pfSense and landed here. Well, hello, crazy server. I'm actually, my router in my network office is pfSense. So yes, I know some about pfSense routers. If you have any questions or anything, let me know. Like the taskbar on Windows 7, and you could pin almost anything on it. Yeah, I hate pinning applications though, personally. But hey, to each his own, man. The same way, I prefer the old desktop flow. And less is more, but we need to be productive. Functionality rules. Absolutely. Don't like the default. The new icon Mint, the new theme on Mint is, despite it's the type of icons I'm not a huge fan of, I like a lot better than the old one. The old icon theme on Mint, oh. Use K-Organizer for the calendar messes. There you go. Yeah, you can do all this stuff in Thunderbird too, but you need to install extra plugins and make it work. And since I prefer Evolution anyway, that's what I learned how to use. Whose events calendar and Plasma does the job well. Yeah, it does. I tinkered with it a little bit. It's not my absolute favorite, but I did tinker with it a little bit. Absolutely, I like answering. As long as the channel's, you know, not so huge that I can't answer everyone. I love to answer people if I can. Icon file, what a name. Yeah. Hello, Toss. Greetings. I prefer closed office as everything should be closed on the holidays. Ooh, nice. For Toss's channel. Greetings, Toss. How's it going? Okay. Let's see. Does Evolution Calendar let you save your calendars so you can import later? Save calendars to import later. I am pretty sure that functionality is there. Let's have a look. Let's go to Personal Calendar. And under... There's Import. There's Backup, Restore... That I don't know. I'm not seeing a functionality for that. Yeah, I'm not seeing that. If it does, I am unaware of it. So that one can't help you with that one. I'm just going to keep Linux Mint open for a little bit. All right. Post a link to a fellow chat participant. Yes. I think you can post links right now without. I don't know why, but non-mods seem to be able to post links right now. Go ahead. If it becomes a problem, then I'll remove the functionality if I can. But, yep. Yeah, I didn't think you need to put the dot. I think if you tried and you couldn't, then, yeah, do what Farron said. Just put the dot there. Playlist looks okay. Not really looking for. Yeah, Snazzy Butterfly. Did you look at? You know what? Hey, I got a Linux Mint test machine running over here. Let me show you Banshee, which is the one I prefer. All right. So let's go to Software Center. This used to be the default on Linux Mint as of 17, but it is no longer there. So there's Banshee. Oh, I already installed it. That's good to know. All right. So Banshee has, this is also, to my knowledge, the only music player on Linux that will sync to an Android. I don't remember how to do it, but it actually does. So it has a setup very similar to Windows Media Player, and there's a variety of different views. So you can show cover art, you can show context planes, show browser. You can tell it to include or exclude music files, so it doesn't just go through your music folder and just simply add everything like Rhythmbox does. So many functionality things that you can do with it. There's radio, there's podcasts. I've never actually experimented with the podcast functionality. Let's see if I can figure out how to import a podcast. Oh, add podcast. So we have to find a podcast feed. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to go to ourwalkinchrist.com. This is my Christian channel. And of course I do a podcast over there. So I have a variety of podcast feeds. I'm just going to copy the direct feed here. That's just the easiest. So pasting my direct feed, hit the subscribe button into Banshee, and let's see what it's doing. Network error. Oh. Why do I have a network error? It's very possible I have not allowed this to access the network. I usually do that. Okay. Let me try that again. That gives me the error again, then I'll try doing the Apple feed. Might be, like I said, I usually disable the ability for Banshee to connect to the internet, so I might have actually done that. Let me see if I can remember where that is. Preferences, podcast folder. Let me try the iTunes feed, see if that works. Copy link location. It shouldn't be my feed, unless it's very possible it's only going to look for certain feeds. Oh wait, hold on, what was that? Yeah, for whatever reason, it's not actually accessing that. It could also be an issue with the system, because there is a constant online offline notification. I've hid notifications on my system. You can kind of, let's see, there's that, but it might just be my system here is not actually able to access that. Let's we'll try this fun one. I don't really want to add it to this. Oh, you know what we can do? Let's try Rhythmbox. Let's see if Rhythmbox is having the same problem. Okay, so I guess this one actually is working, but yeah, there's something with Banshee's not be able to connect to the internet right here. That could be because we're in the virtual machine, could be a beta environment, whatever. I'll test the podcast functionality on my other system that I actually run Banshee on. I don't want to test it over here. Let me see if I can do it over here though. Discover. Install over here. Go Fedora, go Fedora, go. All right, I'm going to install Banshee on Fedora over there, so we'll give you a heads up there if that seems to be working. Okay. Okay, but looking for a different layout. All right. Understandable. What layout are you looking for? Greetings, Q1. How's it going there? Visit those offices with the caddy. Yeah.
Visit the offices with the caddy, man. We're gonna make them a pizza they can't refuse.
What happened to Fedora? It's right here. It's running. It's a pain, but it's running. I don't know. I think it's things like I need to. There's some things I need to do a little bit differently. Copy link location. Now we're gonna open up Banshee over here. Oh, come on. Banshee. It's a wicked Banshee, man. It's a wicked Banshee. Banshee just vanished. Banshee, come back! Come back, Banshee! Banshees aren't supposed to vanish like that. Fedora sucks. Is it gonna work? Yeah, I think Banshee just killed Fedora over here. Yep, just had to drop the terminal to reboot Fedora. It sucks. Oh boy. Okay. Hello, Scotland. Greetings. How are you? Rhythmbox doesn't have headbar style plugin on Mint? No idea. I'll have to look up Songbird or Nightingale. I have not seen any of those. Wiping off Windows 10 machine and putting Windows 8.1 on them. Why? How big is your music library? Banshee banned Fedora. Yeah. I'm just curious why Banshee's not connecting well over here. That's an interesting thing to me. Let's see. Let's try that again. Yeah, I'm not seeing an issue, and Banshee does not seem to like Fedora at all. Yeah, I've never had any issues with this before, but, Let me go into our software center over here. I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to look into this one later, I think. Terminate. Yep. Don't run Fedora, or don't run Banshee on Fedora. Apparently it doesn't work. 650 gigabytes. That's a pretty big music collection. How's Fedora coming along? It ain't gonna live long. It ain't gonna live long. Not at all. Not at all, indeed. I have it stable enough to be working, but apparently there's stuff missing. So, well, let's see if I can rustle up a kitty. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Kitty, kitty. I guess the kitty doesn't want kitty treats. Dora with Fedora. Someone needs to make that joke. Yeah. You're giving me an idea. I'm over half a century old. I have a lot of music. I guess Kitty's not coming up for more. So I think what we'll do is we're just going to have to go ahead and wrap this guy up without a kitty. No, kitty, no. I don't know. He's probably chilling downstairs. Can't hear me. Can't hear the treats. The tale of the MIA kitty. Yeah, indeed. All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging around. And, yeah, later on today, I'll post up the shorter and edited version of that video so that we can go ahead and see that in briefer time. Is Kitty sick? No, he's probably just downstairs. They've been favoring laying on the couch lately, and so he can't really hear me from up here. So, all right, guys, we will catch you later. Have yourselves a wonderful afternoon, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.